Hello again. We're going to talk a bit more about music theory. So, as I said last time, we're focusing on the major scale. I've asked you to internalize the idea of C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whole, half, whole, half. Okay, that's how far we've gotten so far. Um, Next step. There are more steps to be taken in this theoretical jungle. Okay. In the first video, I'm going to go back to that. I mentioned something about intervals, the distance between two notes. Now that becomes important. I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible. There are, however, a few, again, patterns. Yeah, a lot of what we're learning here is patterns. Which means they can be applied to many different situations. In our case, in the musical case, they can be applied to different scales. Right now we are using the major scale, and with the patterns that I'm showing you, you'll be able to take those patterns and apply them to different major scales, because there are 12 of them after all. We got 12 different major scales, and we'll get more into why and how it works technically over time. But right now, as I said, just want to focus on C major. We need to understand the one in order for us to understand all the other ones and how they are connected. Also musically. Again, we're talking theory now. The whole idea is that sooner or later, you will be able to do something like this. And so on and so on. This is just improvised now, quickly on the spot. But what I'm teaching you are basically is the theory to this. And if you're a guitarist, if you're a pianist, if you're into singing, singing for me is something that all of us should be doing, at least in our heads. If not, loudly. Not everybody is a singer. That's okay. But musically speaking, just to have those. If you've got some melodies in your head, belt them out. I mean, it's not gonna hurt anyone. Might just only do you really good. But yeah, so scales, intervals, the distance between two notes. We're going to come to a different concept now. If you've been around guitarists, if you've been around music in general for a long time, you will have heard the difference between major and minor. Okay? Now, intervals is sort of like a way to explain the difference between a major and the minor. And I'm going to use the scale of C major to introduce you to the concept of intervals, and then later on the concept of triads and chords. Once you understand chords, and once you know how to connect the chords together, that's when things become a lot more musical. But until then, it's really just C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then later on, it'll change. But let's get the foundational stuff going, and then let it flow from there. And let that understanding just help you in your own musical journey, because it will. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whole, half, whole, half. Okay, we are back at the piece of paper. Whoops. You remember in the last session we got this far. Okay? Once we've internalized that, now I'm just going to put a big line here. I'm going to divide this. I'm doing this very roughly, like I used to when I was 18 and I was sitting at the bus station or whatever, and I would just quickly jot something down just to remember. Okay. Now, we spoke about a move from C to D as being a whole step because there is a semitone in between, which is the C sharp or the D flat, which I also mentioned is the same note. Okay. Now, in an interval, the step from C to D is called a major second. Second, why? It's 1, 2. Okay, so from C to D is a second. It's the second from C. C, we can also call our root note. Okay, so it's a major second. What would that then say if we had to make a step from C to C sharp? Or from C to D flat? Again, same note, don't get confused. From C to C sharp would be a minor second. Understand? Make sense? There's a certain things that we just have to accept. That's the way that they are termed. That's the way that they are. Okay? So from C to D is a major second, and from C to C sharp or D flat, for that matter, is a minor second. All right. From C to E is a major third. Major third from C to E. C, D, E. 1, 2, 3. Major third. Important. The third is very important in general. You'll find out why just now. And so from C to D is a whole. From D to E is a whole step. So we get our major third derived from 2 whole steps. Whole step, whole step. Okay, from C to E is a major third in the interval world. Now, in blues and in other music, when you start talking guitar, when you start talking jamming, say, hey, play a flat 3. Now, what happens when we flatten a third? What we are taking our major third, 2 whole steps, and we are going back a semitone on the third step. That means to flatten it. We're playing a minor. This is what we call a minor chord. So from C to E flat would be considered a minor third. This is just to explain to you the difference between a major and a minor, and that there are theoretical differences in general, as much as audible differences that I will show you just now, once we get to a major. So, yeah, from a listening perspective, you can hear. I'm playing a C and I'm playing an E. This is what we call a major. If I now take a half a tone away from the 3, I am playing a minor. You can hear the difference. Major is heavy. You get the idea. Major, minor. Now, intervals, they carry on from your root note, from your 1, from C in our case here. They carry on all the way up to 8 again. So the step from 1 to 2 is what we would call a major second. The step from 1 to 3 is what we would call a major third. Now, our step from 1 to 4 and our step to 1 to 5, they have special meaning. And they have a different name. They're not majors or minors. They're called perfect. So from 1 to 4 is a perfect fourth. From 1 to 5 is a perfect fifth. We are going to look at those specifically, the 4 and the 5. We're going to look at those a lot more over time because the 1, the 4, and the 5, as in numbers, they are very important for music, for songs, for singing, for most things that you hear, believe it or not. 1, 4, and 5 are very important as numbers. Again, we get there. Just chill. Enjoy this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Backwards. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Get that in. Get it internal. All the time. Whole, half, whole, half. This is the major scale. These are the patterns that we need to apply theory throughout this vast, interconnected world of music. Anyway, I get distracted. As I said, intervals, they're there, major, minor. They are very much what makes something on a theoretical side. Well, like it is. These are the things that make something a major or a minor. It's important to understand that, even if you would start, let's say, at let's see. Let's start counting on the G. G. We apply the same theory now. So we need a whole and then another whole. From G to A is a whole step. There's a blank note in between. From A to B is another whole step. Okay. So we got G, A, B. So G and B actually, again, makes a major interval. This pattern can be applied to all notes. It's not related just to C. Just understand that. We're learning patterns now that we will be able to apply to many different scales. So the pattern for now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, we are in the key right now of C major. That's why we are saying C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All right? And we do understand that our distance, our tonal difference is always a whole tone, then a half tone, then a whole tone, a whole tone, a whole tone, and then another half tone. Important to understand. Right. Now, I want you to grab your paper. I want you to put a line there throughout the entire page. We're starting a new thing now. I want you to write C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C again. Now, C, E. It's a major third. Now you will find that in music, playing thirds consecutively can sound very pretty. So if I play something like this, these are what we call consecutive thirds. We're playing thirds after each other. They sound pretty. Now, I want you to keep the 3 in mind, and I want you have written down C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C again. Now I want you to write the alphabet, but this time you're starting on 3. Start on the 3. So we're starting on, right now, on E. C, D, E's are 3. So we're writing E underneath the C. What's our next one? From the D, we count 3, D, E. Oh, it's F. Let's write the F down. We count 3 from E. E, F, G. Let's write down G. You can see that the alphabet carries on exactly in the same order, just that we're starting on the E instead of the C. So it's E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, now fill it out all the way. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and back to E. So right now, you should have this. Okay? What we've done now is we have added all our thirds together as intervals. Okay. So the next step now, as you can imagine to yourself, is to learn this. But this is we learned this by heart, guys. C, E, D, F, E, G, F, A, G, B, A, C, B, D, C, E. Okay, so we get C, E, D, F, E, G, F, A, G, B, A, B, A, C, B, D, C, E. Okay. And you can hear how different it sounds. I'm playing a normal C major now, just one note at a time. Now I'm playing together. Sounds pretty. Now, in theory, after an interval, we add one more note, and once we add another note, we don't talk of an interval anymore, we talk of a triad. Triad meaning 3. You know, we're adding 3 notes together. And those 3 notes together make the foundation of your chord. Now, a chord is many notes being played together, oftentimes doubled up, not necessarily all different notes, you know, that's In jazz, yes, but in normal music in general, no. Okay, so we're going to add a third note now to this. And the third note starts on the 5, which means in the case of our C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, 5. Yeah? So, C, E, G. And then we do the same thing again, just visually. It's easy for you to write down. From G, we go to A, we go to B, we go to C, D, E, F, and we're about back at G. Okay, so we're going to do that now. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. All right. So now you have something like this. There we go. All right. Now, with triads, same thing again. We learn them to such a degree that we can easily say what notes belong to what. Yeah. So if I say, okay, give me the one of C major, it's C, E, and G. It's a major chord. We'll get to the majors and minors soon. We have a little bit already with intervals, but I've decided to hold on until we get to the triads before I explain majors and minors as chords within a major scale structure. So let's see. So we got now C, E, G, D, F, A, E, G, B, F, A, C, G, B, D, A, C, E, B, D, F, and C, E, G. That's your foundation. That's your foundation of the C major scale in triads, or what we would call a chord. It's those 3 notes. It's 3 notes that make up the foundation of your chord. And it immediately tells you if a chord is major or minor. And playing, if I were to play this now, with the 3 notes together, it sounds like this. I can also break them up. Okay, it's always the respective 3 notes that make up the chord. And the note that is, for now, at the bottom is what we call your root note. That is, the foundational note of the chord you are playing. So if I am playing this chord, C, E, and G, I'm starting on the C. It's my root note. It's a C major chord with the C at the bass, at the bottom. We'll get more to bass and treble and those sort of things over time as well. For now, I just want to give you the foundation of the major scale. So again, this is something for you to learn by heart. C, E, G, D, F, A, E, G, B, F, A, C, G, B, D, A, C, E, B, D, F, C, E, G. Get those things internalized. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.